welcome back to D&C in 23. I'm Dave. Alex may join in if he wakes up, but for now you've got me, and we are talking about, well, almost at the beginning of the end, a 2-night run in the Gorge Amphitheater in Washington State. It's Dead & Company's 5th time playing the Gorge Amphitheater. They played it in 2016, 2018. They did a 2-night stint in 2019, and then they're going to do a 2-night stint concluding tonight. So that will make times 5 and 6 at the Gorge Amphitheater in George, Washington. Last time out was their 3-night run at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. Highly recommend checking out any one of those 3 nights. If you're a Dave Matthews Band, check out night. If you're a Dave Matthews Band fan, check out night 3. If you want my opinion on what night was best, if you only have time to check out one, I lean night 1. I think that was their best playing, and Bob sounded excellent on the mic. I think a couple days rest really helped him in night 1. But those 3 Folsom Field shows in Boulder were fantastic, as was this show in the Gorge. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. We poked around and learned from some boots on the ground that 2 things. That one, it was hot out in Washington State with a high sky and a sun that didn't quit, and it took a long time for that sun to set and go down. The second thing we learned is that there was pretty strict security and a pretty bad parking situation. So a pro tip, if you are going to tonight's show, please leave early. One of the reports we got from a boots on the ground was someone who arrived at the venue at 10:30 in the morning and had a pretty decent experience getting in, but that's a lot earlier than a lot of people are arriving. So please leave early so that you can get on the lawn or get in your seats as quick as you can and enjoy the show. And if you are camping, definitely leave early, because the reports made it seem like that was the line that had the most issues. There's also a long line to get into the amphitheater, allegedly. So same kind of deal. Maybe if you were able to go to Shakedown night 1, maybe it's worth skipping Shakedown on night 2 to be able to enter the venue a little quicker. But anyway, a lot of people want to see this band's final show in Washington State, so get out there early. Next up, the set list of what they played last night. Set 1 opened at 7:25 local time. Music Never Stopped opener. Alabama Getaway. When I Paint My Masterpiece, tour bust out of that. Mr. Charlie. Tennessee Jed. Dire Wolf. And then a bird song, Into Big Railroad Blues, to end set 1 at about 8:30 local time. The Music Never Stopped opener was really, really good because of the tempo that Jay Lane was pushing him with on the drums. He kept this song upbeat and relatively quick by Dead & Company standards. And so that had Mayer playing up to speed, that had Chimenti playing up to speed, and I think everybody benefited from the quicker tempo. The big crowd cheer of the line, "There's mosquitoes on the river," because the Gorge Amphitheater backs up right to a big river. That made a lot of people happy. But the standout performer from this first song was O'Teal on the bass. He was having a great time, and he was playing out of his mind. His face paint was good too. A vertical line starting from the very top of his forehead down like through his nose into his chin. But his playing was just unreal on this song. The Alabama Getaway was crisp. It was hot. There's not a lot of room for them to jam Alabama Getaway out, but every time they play it, they play it well. The highlight of set 1 for me was the Dire Wolf near the end of set 1. They were hot and upbeat, and Mayer was really going for it on the mic. And he and Chimenti had some good back and forth in Dire Wolf. Alex's high point of set 1 was Birdsong. He was texting me throughout most of set 1, and he just he was ranting and raving about Birdsong. He said that Chimenti had the piano dialed in on this Birdsong, and they are just not missing. He also liked that Tennessee Jet. He said that was one of the best Dead & Company Jeds he's ever heard. And as a recently converted Jed head, I'm glad to hear him having a good time when they play that song. And the big railroad blues that ended set one, it was very similar to the one we saw end set one during the second night at the Saratoga Performing Arts, the SPAC show. Mayer really brings a lot of energy with this song, and when it's a set ender, it has a similar vibe to Don't Ease Me In, where Mayer really, really wants to get you back up on your feet and dancing right before the set break. Set two, the band comes back out at 9:08, and they came out with Sugary. They've been opening a bunch of set twos this tour with Sugary, and that's a good spot for that song. After Sugary, Estimated Profit, into Scarlet Begonias, into Viola Lee Blues, into Dark Star 1, so Dark Star the first verse, into Drums and then Space, out of Space into Cumberland Blues, and then Black Peter. The Black Peter is taped over another song and handwritten in, and because it's a little early in the morning Eastern time, I haven't been able to find any Reddit detectives who know what could be under that tape. But Cumberland, then Black Peter, and then a Casey Jones set closer and a Black Muddy River encore. So just as Alex predicted for his Estimated Profits, his two songs, they closed the show back to back, Casey Jones and Black Muddy River. It was late on the East Coast, so we kind of relied on our boots on the ground for reviewing set two, but the reports that we got was it was a solid Sugary and a solid Estimated Profit, but that the highlight of the set was actually Scarlet Begonias, which surprises me a little because every set that's had a Cumberland in it, this whole tour, people have kind of agreed that that's been a standout. But I mean, that probably doesn't mean that Cumberland was played bad by any means. I think it's probably more of a testament to how well they played Scarlet last night. And the last time that they played Scarlet Begonias was night one in Folsom Field. They did what they did at one of the Chicago nights where they went Sugar Magnolia into Scarlet into the Sunshine Daydream Coda. So they moved it up earlier in the set list here to be pre-Drums and Space. And then the other reports we got was that a good Black Muddy River ended it. And that feels like a good fitting encore for if you don't know anything about the Gorge. I mean, I didn't until I looked at some pictures on it. I encourage you to just Google it and look at some pictures. It's a beautiful amphitheater that backs right up to a river. And so playing Black Muddy River makes a lot of sense as the encore song. All right, that's what they did last night at the Gorge. What are they going to do for their final show in Washington State on Saturday, July 8th? So later on today, it's time for your not so new anymore favorite game show, Estimated Profits. Based on the last few set lists, here are Alex first. He has the first pick tonight. Alex's and then mine's selections in the Dead & Company fantasy draft. Alex thinks they're going to send Washington State out with a Broke Down Palace, so he's trying to snipe that encore slot with a Broke Down Ender. And I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to go for two songs that I think they're going to play in set one. So I'm going to take Mississippi Half Step, and then I'm going to take Brown Eyed Women. Those are going to be my two picks. Mississippi Half Step, I feel good about with the river behind the amphitheater, and the river being a key component of that song. And also they played Alabama Getaway last night, and so I think they'll close out the Southern State pairing with a little Mississippi Half Step tonight. For Alex's second and final pick, in order to find out what that is, you'll have to check out our social media. You'll have to go on Twitter at WorkingMansPod, Instagram at WorkingMans_pod. If you go on the Dead and Company subreddit, a little later today, Alex will have the picture with our selections posted. Or you can send us an email at workingmanspod@gmail.com to either let us know what songs you think they're going to play tonight's show or to see what we selected. We are getting near the end here with Estimated Profits, and it's with a heavy heart that I tell you I am mathematically eliminated from winning the whole damn thing. But that's okay. I'm not mathematically eliminated from beating Alex, which is my new goal, and it's what we're going to set our sights on tonight, and then the San Fran shows to wrap this tour up. That's going to do it for this episode of D&C in 23. It's a shorter one, but I've got some family obligations on the last day of vacation for me, so that's going to wrap it up here. Alex will be back with you tomorrow to break down everything from tonight's show, the last show of Washington State. And until next time, know our love will not fade away.